Welcome back, guys. Day 16, and I am sort of starting to realize that the best thing for me to do is to wake up and immediately take a very small piece of Xanax. That seems to be helping so far, at least the past few days. But today's been okay. It hasn't been terrible. What I wanted to do today was go over panic attacks. And I also wanted to go over anxiety. So anxiety and panic attacks are completely different. So when I first started taking Celexa when I was only 12 or 13, I started getting panic attacks around that time, and I didn't have anxiety. So what would happen is I would go into these full-blown panic attacks, and then once they were over, I would feel completely fine. So I was still able to function. It was still, debilitating. I mean, panic attacks are terrible, but I was still able to function, go to school, live a pretty normal life with panic disorder. Anxiety is basically, at least for me, it's more of a constant disturbed state where you are constantly feeling symptoms that might not be as intense as a panic attack, but they are still there and they're still very uncomfortable. And it's almost like having a minor panic attack at all times. When I experience anxiety, which I developed, if you can go back and watch my my story videos to find out why I have a generalized anxiety now, why I think I have it. What I experience with anxiety, I experience shortness of breath, dizziness, irritability, restlessness, muscle tension. I get weakness in my legs, brain fog, difficulty concentrating. When I experience a panic attack, it is basically all those same symptoms plus more symptoms, and everything is much more intense. So with a panic attack, you might also get heart palpitations. You might feel like you're dying. Intense fear is one of the main symptoms of a panic attack. Feeling like you're losing your mind or you're going crazy. Shortness of breath, which is much more intense. You may sweat. You may get chills. You may get tingling in your hands, like a numbness sensation. And that for me is because when I panic, I tend to hyperventilate, and that will cause the numbness or the tingling sensations in my hands. The realization, feeling like things around you aren't real. When I had my last panic attack, I kept telling my mom, like, I felt like my arms weren't attached to my body. It's just it can be very strange symptoms. And you may also feel like you're choking, which is another one. I was also experiencing chest tightness, very extreme chest tightness, where you feel like you're literally not getting air. So I developed anxiety over the years, but in the beginning, it was just panic attacks. Now I have both. And I do want to go over how I deal with it. So other than just popping a Xanax, so the problem with just doing that is that you may feel a panic attack come on, and you immediately take a Xanax because you want to stop it. The problem is Xanax tends to not work for 20 to 30 minutes. So you may go through the worst of the panic attack before the Xanax even kicks in. And that does happen with me. I have had panic attacks that have lasted hours. Simply because maybe the Xanax just wasn't enough. Maybe I just didn't take enough of it. But natural things that I like to do during, when I feel a panic attack coming on, or even during it, something that does help me, at least help the intensity, is I like to it's almost like a shock to my system, but I like to go outside, and this is especially good during the winter, because when I'm having a panic attack, I get very hot. So I like to go outside into the fresh air, even if it's freezing, and I will simply just sit on the curb or even just lay down outside my house and breathe in the fresh air. That change in temperature can sort of flip a switch in your brain for sure. Also, one of the most important things during a panic attack, which also might be one of the most difficult things, is to slow your breathing down and breathe very slowly. So there's all different breathing exercises. One of them is 4-7-8, but you can sort of make up your own. You don't need to follow any sort of breathing exercise you find online. You can sort of count your breaths, count breaths yourself. Breathe in for 4 seconds, breathe out for 8 seconds, or breathe in for 4, breathe out for 6. It doesn't need to be anything specific, but as long as you're going very slowly, it might not help immediately. And that is the reason why some people, when they're having panic attacks, tend to give up very quickly on the breathing. When I was experiencing my most recent panic attack the other night, I would start to do my slow breathing, and if it didn't help within the first few breaths, I would immediately give up and start panicking again, because I was like, oh, see, it's not working. Something is wrong with me. I am dying. And that's a panic attack. You think you're dying, and if you do something natural to try to help yourself and it doesn't work, like immediately, you start panicking more. You cannot give up on the breathing. This is very, very important. Even if it takes 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you have to slow your breathing down, and you have to get into a rhythm with your breath. So going outside, breathing. Also, mindfulness can help depending on the severity of the situation. I like to smell like essential oils. That can sometimes bring me out of a panic state. Maybe putting on, a movie or a TV show, or playing some video games, or, whatever you like to do. Video games are good because it's a very good mindfulness exercise, video games. People don't realize this, but gaming has been one of the best things for me when it comes to anxiety and panic attacks. You're focused on what you're doing. You're focused on what you're controlling in the game. So that can be extremely beneficial. So yeah, that's something I do like to do when I'm more when I'm having anxiety. If I'm having a panic attack, the video game probably won't help. But going outside, breathing, getting into that rhythm of breath. When I have a panic attack, I also, I cannot walk. I lose complete control of my legs. They get very, very weak. And that alone is scary, because if I feel like I need to escape a situation, I basically can't. I can't walk. So I try not to let it. I try not to let it get to that point. Depending on who you are, whatever your hobby might be, that is definitely something to think about. I mean, if you're into, cooking, baking, blogging, painting, whatever it might be, these are things that you can do when you immediately start to get that feeling of a panic attack. So the most important thing to remember, you are not going to die from a panic attack. You will not die from a panic attack. Sometimes they're so severe, I want someone to just kill me, knock me out, whatever. You will not die. It is extremely terrifying. The physical sensations are horrible, but I promise you, you are not going to die from a panic attack. It is not possible. Anxiety is awful too. Panic attacks are on another level. I don't want you to become, if you're watching this, I don't want you to become so caught up in what's happening with, it's very hard, but with the physical symptoms. I want you to try to slow your breathing down. If it doesn't work, keep going. It will work eventually. I promise you that. Going outside, breathing in the fresh air. Video games, if you're able, if it's not too intense. Watching a movie, a TV show. Essential oils. Getting a different scent. These are all things that really, really can help you. Taking a few sips of water. It's just very important, and cannot stress this enough. You're not going to die. You're not going to die from a panic attack. It is not possible. You may feel like you are dying. You may feel like you are on the verge of death, which I have felt hundreds of times. But I promise you, you will get through this and you will come out okay. It can be traumatizing. So okay is maybe not the correct word choice there. After a panic attack, you can feel very tired. You can start to feel depressed. I do get depressed sometimes after panic attacks because they're just so traumatizing in themselves. But it's just so important to remember that you will get through it, okay? And you will be okay. I promise you that. I'm going to end this video for now. I'm going to release more videos on panic attacks and anxiety, things that can help. I'm going to go into more details about panic attacks in other videos, but I think this is a good first video and for that. So please subscribe, hit like if you like what you're watching. Like I said, with day 16 here, it hasn't been terrible. Not good, not terrible, sort of in the middle. It's similar to yesterday. So keep pushing, keep fighting. I'm going to keep fighting back. And I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks for watching.